like your dolls.
Welcome back to Ms. Pumpkin Recapped. Today I'm going to show you a thriller movie from 2014, Annabelle. Please pay attention to watch. The young couple, John and Mia, are about to become parents, and they have a good relationship with their neighbors. On this day, they were standing in the doorway enthusiastically discussing the name of their child. Mrs. Higgins asked John to take good care of his wife and the child in her womb. Children are a gift from God. When they parted, Mia reminded John that he shouldn't discuss so much about the baby with the Higgins, because the Higgins' adopted daughter left home 2 years ago without a trace. This may evoke a sad past for them. Mia prepares the bedding for the baby's birth while watching TV. The TV is introducing a cult that believes in Satan and preaches the end of the world, and what happens later is related to this cult, including the daughter of the Higgins who ran away from home. Mia likes dolls. In order to make his wife happy, John went to great lengths to buy the doll that Mia always wanted to buy. Mia seemed very happy. That night, there was a murder at the Higgins house, and blood splattered on the window. Mia, who heard the movement, woke John up and told him to go to see what was going on. John panicked and asked Mia to call the police quickly and went back to rescue the Higginses. When Mia called the police, a woman with long hair and white clothes floated past behind her, holding a doll and saying to Mia, "I like your doll." Mia was so scared that she backed up. At that moment, another man covered in blood appeared behind her and he stabbed Mia in the stomach. This time, John came to fight fiercely with the man, and the woman in white picked up the knife and joined the fight. Seeing that John was about to be killed, the police came to shoot the man twice, and the woman committed suicide while holding the doll. A drop of blood dripped onto the doll's face and slowly flowed into the eyes. Mia simply hurt her belly. The child was not injured, she just needed bed rest. Although escaped, a series of strange events began to appear in the family. In the middle of the night, the sewing machine suddenly runs automatically. The doll that is clearly on the shelf inexplicably appears on the floor. The doll in the rocking chair will shake itself and make a creaking sound. All kinds of weird events. Plus, Mia remembered that the doll was in the arms of the female gangster at the time, so Mia asked John to throw it into the trash. Not long after, police came to report the case and confirmed that Annabelle was indeed a member of a cult who claimed that the world was coming to an end and wanted to kill her nearest and dearest to show loyalty to the cult. As for other ghosts, it's nonsense. But the weirdness in the house didn't stop there. The induction cooker was automatically turned on, causing a roaring fire. Mia went to check it out and ended up falling and what appeared to be a hand yanking hard on her leg. Fortunately, a neighbor arrived in time, and Mia was saved. Once again frightened, Mia gives birth prematurely, a daughter named Leah. There's a homicide here and a fire. Mia believes the house is cursed. They decided to move. While packing, they suddenly find that the doll had obviously thrown away has reappeared. John wants to throw it away. Mia said it's okay, it's a gift, let's keep it. Moving to a new house, Mia met many new neighbors. One of the black women, Evelyn, was particularly enthusiastic. She ran a library and gave Mia some books. They thought they could get rid of the anxiety caused by all the previous encounters after moving to a new home, but it wasn't long before strange events began to occur at home again. The long-haired, white-clothed woman appeared in the bedroom again, leaning over to look at Leah. Mia picked up a painting on the stairs of her daughter Leah in a car accident. Mia is once again in a state of anxiety and sensitivity, but things are far from over. The figure in white ran around the house, emitting a horrible laugh. The next moment, she suddenly pounced on Mia and then disappeared, scaring Mia to the core. John, a doctor, thinks his wife is just hallucinating from postpartum depression. Evelyn reappears and expresses her love for their daughter, Leah. A few days later, Mia is organizing the storage room when she suddenly hears a baby crying. She turned around, saw her daughter's stroller, stepped forward to check, and was suddenly grabbed by a jet black hand, causing Mia to scream and run away. There was a wound on the arm, almost the same as the blood-colored mark on the wall, but the wound disappeared completely soon. The police came again to report the progress of the homicide investigation. The country found a number of quite similar homicide cases, the modus operandi of the murderess. These were all committed by a cult organization that called itself the Messenger of the Underworld. In the photos provided by the police, the sign painted in blood was once again found, but the police did not believe that any ghost existed. Seeing that the police and her husband didn't believe their description, Mia, who was extremely confused, came to the library to check the materials, hoping to solve her doubts. Evelyn offered to come up to her and ask what she needed, and Mia said she suspected a ghost was haunting them. During the chat, Evelyn once had a daughter, about the same age as Mia. She died in a car accident while driving fatigued. When a remorseful and grieving Evelyn decides to kill herself, she hears her daughter's voice. The daughter told her that this was not the time to end her life and that God had other plans for her. Therefore, she believes in the existence of a soul, and it must be her daughter's soul talking to herself. Evelyn speculated that cult was going to try to bring down Mia and deprive her of her soul through constant intimidation. She encouraged Mia to trust her instincts and be brave enough to protect herself and her family. After saying this, Evelyn lovingly touched Mia's hand. Mia found out from the books that the demon specially tormented vulnerable people, trying to devour their souls and even destroy them completely by spilling the blood of close relatives. Mia was drawn to a room by a creaking sound and entered the door, which suddenly closed. From underneath the door, the books on the shelves keep falling down, seemingly to hit her daughter Leah. Mia slammed the door open and rushed in. At this moment, the doll in the corner suddenly stood up and floated in the air. A face was vaguely seen behind the doll. The priest who heard about this came over and took away the doll. He wanted to put the doll in a sacred place to weaken the demon's power. As a result, the priest was knocked to the ground by the white man who followed him, and the doll was snatched away. Evelyn came over to keep Mia company and brought Leah a little dress. She said sadly that she didn't have the chance to be a grandmother, so she considered herself Leah's grandmother and wanted to spoil her. The priest who woke up told John that the demon has no way to deprive a person of soul unless that person voluntarily offers it to the demon. Leah is a baby and has no way to offer her soul, so the demon's target must be Mia, not Leah. John hurriedly called home to get Mia out of the room immediately, but the call was disturbed and Mia didn't hear him. Clearly, the cry of her daughter came from the room. Mia hurried to check and found that her daughter had disappeared. All the dolls were covered with blood, and the doll that was taken away by the priest came back. Dark figure on the roof swooped down and pounced directly on Evelyn. Mia continued to follow the cries to find her daughter. The window opened and an eerie, unmistakable voice came from the window. "Offer your soul, and I will return your." Mia walked to the window step by step. At this time, Evelyn got up again and looked for Mia from room to room. John also rushed over, but Mia was already standing on the windowsill. She was going to offer her soul to the demon to get her daughter back. The next moment, Mia was pulled back by John, but Mia did not change her mind. She desperately wanted to break free from John and go to offer her soul. Evelyn said, "You can't do this. Your daughter needs you. She can't live without her mother." Mia cried out, "They need a soul. I have to go get my daughter back." Evelyn was silent. In a blink of an eye, Evelyn was already standing on the windowsill. She said that she would exchange her life for Leah, which is also what her dead daughter meant. Then, she jumped down without hesitation. Inside the house, Leah appears in the crib again. With Evelyn falling downstairs, the doll's whereabouts are unknown. 6 months later, the doll appears in a collector's store and is bought by a mother and given to her daughter, who is a nurse. Ends here.